Hello, welcome to Alchemy Animation. It is a sixth part of a series called The Invisible Princess is Bored Again Today. Let's begin. She said, Caesar, if anyone bothers you, feel free to tell me. He looked towards her and said, Helena, I'm your disciple. She smiled and thinking that right, I taught him not to get hit. She said, good kids can do what you do. He came towards her and said, so you mean kid stuff? And then he grabbed her in his arms. In a wavering voice she said, wait, what are you doing? He replied, I'm doing kid stuff. With a blushy face he said, you have to get charged, if you want to overcome obstacles. She hugged him back and thinking that he is such a strange guy. She said, here, charge up yourself. He laughed and said, thank you, teacher. She replied, sure, my disciple. And then he left. She was thinking that if this is what you want, I can give it to you. I can give you all that I have got, so come at any time. And then she entered into the palace and closed the door. She was thinking that I will support you in any way, my lovely disciple. 1 month later, the three of us went to the mansion in the capital to participate in the competition. When she told her parents about the competition, both of them were very happy. Her mother said, our Helena has finally decided to live an ambitious life. She even willingly went to the capital. Her father said, what a good girl. If you're going either way, join the meeting of the nobles too. Both of them were holding her hand. She was thinking that I have no motivation whatsoever to join those meetings. But my parents seems happy, so just be it. And one more person really looks happy as well, Agat. They reached to the capital. Agat was looking around very happily. Helena asked, Agat, is the capital that fascinating? Agat said, yes, lady. I thought that I would not be able to come here until I'm older. It's so magical. She was pointing towards the floor and said, look at this, my lady. Not a single brick is broken, even though so many carriages travel by. Helena was thinking that is it that surprising, you're so cute? She pointed towards the palace and said, what's with that amazing castle? Who would live in such a huge place? Helena was thinking that Caesar lived there, and I lived there 500 years ago as well. She pointed towards the dragon statue and said, do you see that statue? It's honestly so big, right? Helena was thinking, that statue is made for celebrations, when I defeated the monstrous dragon Krusek. Agat was being this surprised by all of this. It feels like I am taking a puppy on a walk. Agat was rushing towards everywhere, and thinking that this is the best place. She said before the first competition, I am actually a bit worried about being overexcited rather than stressed out because of it. Leonard looked towards her and said, I think you have bought many things for Agat. Agat is so surprised whenever we give her things. Agat looked towards them with a crying face. She said, thank you. I will try and work harder. Even if I don't win, I will try my best not to affect your reputation. Helena said, what are you talking about? You should win. I told you to beat them all. After hearing these words from Helena, she dropped all of the gifts on the ground. And in full of excitement she said, you are right, I am aiming to win. Helena said, right, that's the spirit. Leonard looked towards Helena and with a smile he said, is it alright if all I got is my spirit? Helena said, of course, you only need to win. Leonard asked, shall I show Helena all of my power? Helena looked towards him and thinking that you rarely look that confident, Leonard. She was thinking that, then you must win. Whose disciples you are, clearly the winner would be one of my students. She said, come to think of it, brother, I have to meet someone, please excuse me. Leonard said, you are meeting with whom? She said, why are you so surprised? I'm just meeting that person for a bit. Leonard said, it's just that you find it bothersome to meet others. Helena replied, that's right. And then she was thinking that it's true that I don't like to meet anyone. But what would I do if he finds out that I'm meeting Caesar? She said there should be a carriage, but I will go by myself. After a while she was sitting on the sofa, Hamilton was also sitting with her. Hamilton said, I was surprised that you contacted me to meet first. She said, I have something to ask. In a surprised way he said, have you finally decided to use me as an information source? Helena said, no, I don't care about politics, and then in a disappointed way Hamilton asked, why is that? She was thinking that this person, does he really want to drag me into politics? I must watch out. Hamilton said, then what do you want to know? She said, I am here to ask about Brandt, anything at all. Hamilton said, did you do something to Brandt? She replied, you asked what I did, not whether I knew anything. Hamilton said, about that I slipped. She replied, I am not a spy. He laughed and said, of course I know, but I don't know where to begin. Do you know that the Empress is trying to make Prince Fran the Emperor? After hearing this, Helena was thinking that it's predictable. Caesar became the crown prince, so it's impossible for Prince Fran to become the crown prince. Then after Caesar becomes the emperor, Fran will become the crown prince. But that would be impossible too, if Caesar has a kid. Hamilton said the authority is on the crown prince side. It would be hard to make Prince Fran the emperor. So they want someone to have an important role. Helena said they want Julika Brandt to be the crown princess. Hamilton said, you are right. She was thinking that it's understandable to cause of war without countermeasures. In the end it's just a politic war. She said, then it's time to talk about Caesar's engagement. Hamilton said, you are much calmer than I thought. After closing her eyes she said, it's not worth getting surprised since imperial marriages are often hasty like that. She was thinking that even though I died without getting married in my first lifeline. Hamilton said, if it's the title of crown princess, we have enough people to support that. What do you think? Helena said, I don't want to. He was shocked after hearing her reply. He said, you don't, then can you become the Empress later on? She said, why would I go through all those troubles to become the Empress? He said, troubles, how about this, that you dislike them too? She was not showing any interest at all. She was thinking that I used to be the emperor. There is no meaning in being the emperor's wife. How annoying! With a crying face Hamilton was thinking that, I'm so powerless, but then he realized, that's right, you are that kind of person. Helena was thinking that since we are talking about Caesar's marriage, what was he thinking about kissing me like that? I will talk about the crown princess now. After a while both of them were saying goodbye to each other, and she sat on the chariot. She was thinking that no matter who becomes Caesar's wife, be it for the attention, it's hard for us to get along now. She was thinking that I think I am a bit better. At last, the day of the battle round came. The audience were sitting on the stadium and shouting for a player they want to win. The commentator said the final round for the 16 people who have succeeded in the previous round will soon begin, so please stay calm. The nobles are sitting on a different stage. Helena was thinking that I don't know if it's because the imperial family did not limit the audience or something, but it's packed out there. Is that why I am seated on the first floor? And then someone came towards her direction. She looked towards the person and thinking that who would wear such a heavy dress to a sword fight? It was Lady Brandt. She was shocked after seeing Helena. She turned away from her and said, get me another seat. But Helena grabbed her hand and said, oh my lady Julika Brandt, why do you want to switch seats? Brandt don't want to sit with her. With a smile Helena said, it's been a while. In a wavering voice Brandt said, of course, have you been well? Helena touched her shoulder and said, why do you sound so tense? I have been good. Lady Brandt, don't ruin the atmosphere. People will think that we have a bad relationship. Helena was thinking that how can you get into the imperial palace with this kind of spirit? She looked towards Helena and said, yes, I'm sitting here. Helena was looking towards her and thinking that these foolish kids only have cute appearances. This can also be seen as a disease. Brandt was covering her face by her fan. The commentator shouted, "The final round will begin." It is a noble's game that's thrilling and exciting, but the audience were talking about a certain competitor. Who was Agathe? They were talking that where does that female competitor come from? She seems young, so quick and sharp. Agathe started to learn the swordsmanship because she wanted to protect Helena. Helena was thinking that Agathe wanted to take up swordsmanship. Now she can showcase her outstanding skills. What a shame, but she will receive lots of love after the competition. And I was clapping for her. After seeing that Helena was clapping for her, Agathe was very happy. And then Leonard entered onto the stage. The audience were talking that the person is a Duke Feresca's son. I heard he's already won many other competitions. He took out his sword. The audience were saying, is he following higher education? What a talented being. And then he slashed with his opponent. After a single strike, the opponent said, I lost. Helena was thinking that it's unbelievable, it's only the first move. The commentator shouted, Master Leonard won this match. With a smile, Leonard moved his hand forward to the opponent and said, what a great fight. The opponent were thinking that, are you an angel? You're such a kind person. Helena was thinking that our house is going to receive more letters from these youngsters. Then there is only one last person, the prince, who also won his match very easily. Audience were talking that the prince is not even using his other hand. Someone said, I heard that these kinds of people don't hesitate at all. Another person replied, just like the rumors, he is like a wolf. I got chills. One other person said, from who did he learn to use swords so mercilessly? Helena was thinking, that's such a shame. It's me who taught him. What do these people think swordsmanship is about? Swords are a kind of weapon used to kill people. Of course there must be tension. And then again Leonard won the match. The commentator said the final round will begin. Leonard Feresca and His Majesty the Crown Prince Caesar. Both of them were standing against each other. The commentator said, if you are ready, let's start. Both of them started to clash with each other. With a smile, Helena was thinking that no matter who wins, they are still both my students. She said, doesn't His Majesty's sword look nice, Lady Brandt? Brandt was surprised. Helena said they can still show their abilities even when they are scared. But it's not that the sword force, revealing the line between life and death. Both of them were clashing very fiercely. Brandt said, that's true. Helena said, then we will find out the weak ones who are hiding behind the sword protection. The people who were talking bad about the Caesar were listening all of this, and they understand that she's talking about them. Brent said, that's what I mean. Isn't His Majesty great? Helena was thinking that, do you understand what I'm talking about? How can a kid like that be the crown princess? Anyway, I'm not that bored to be bothered by another girl. Helena was thinking that she has such a dark future. But then suddenly Brandt was surprised. She said, oh my, the prince won the match. The commentator said the results are clear. The final winner is His Majesty the Crown Prince Caesar Wintergrey. Brandt said this is his first time winning in a sword competition. Helena was thinking that, I guess the previous crown prince have no choice but to fight in one round and leave. But my disciple sure is different. Helena saying that it is the wrath of the winner. All of them were congratulating him. Helena said, what is it? Why are the ladies going crazy? She was thinking that, all of that aside. But why is he coming here? The prince came out of the stage. Lady Brandt stood up and said, oh my, do you really not know? The winners have a tradition to give their wreath to a lady in their heart. Helena looked towards her and thinking that, seriously, you sure know a lot about this. But when she looked forward, she found that the prince was standing in front of them. She was thinking that, I am doomed, you are in the wrong place. Brandt was looking towards him very passionately, while Helena was not looking at him at all. With a bright smile, Lady Brandt said, Your Majesty, congratulations on your victory. I also had faith that you should win. The prince smiled and said, I'm glad I did not let you down. Helena was looking towards him and thinking that, what's with that business smile? The higher-ups were also looking at them. Helena was looking at them and thinking that it's politics after all, it sucks. The prince took out his wreath. With a blushy face, Brand was thinking that he is about to give her the wreath, so she closed her eyes. But the prince gave the wreath to Helena. With a smile he said, I should like to give it all to my respected master. All the ladies were shocked after hearing that. The Empress were also shocked. She said, oh my. In an awkwardness, Lady Brandt was crying. All of the crowd were shouting. Helena was thinking that I can just live a quiet life. But now I'm doomed. One of the girls said, did you hear the crown prince gave the wreath to Feresca? Another person said, I heard that she taught swordsmanship to the crown prince. The girl said, what are you talking? Are you talking truth? And then the rumors traveled fast. But all the men were saying that it's really famous story in the West. Her son was also taught by that girl. Another person said, maybe it's just nonsense. How can it be? The person replied, what's more, can she return the crown princess feeling now that he gave her the wreath? The girls were talking that crown princess, Feresca sure can do anything. She was thinking that discussion always appears at the end of the story, so what will happen to Lady Brandt? After the tournament, Caesar was sitting on his knees and saying, I have committed a dire crime. Helena said, Caesar, what do I hate? He looked towards her and said, anything that's annoying. In an anger she took out the sword and said, then you can die. Caesar was shouting for help. Helena said, what exactly were you thinking? Giving the wreath to me? He said, wait, listen to me, Helena. You are the one who told us to beat them all. What's wrong with the disciple trying to thank his master? She came close to him and said, it's not wrong. But I'm in a bad mood now, so don't smile. He was trying to control his smile. She said, are you trying to bring me into a political war? He said, that's not what I meant. She said, however, I have become the barrier of Crown Prince and Lady Brand's relationship. She looked towards him and said, if you want to control the Empress, use another way, don't drag me in. He said, if Agat or Leonard won, they would have also given the wreath to you. She said, why are you mentioning it? He said, we are all students, isn't this the place to showcase what we have learned? She said, well, I guess. He was about to cry, and in a wavering voice he said, then why can't I do it? I'm also your disciple. Do you really hate that wreath? Do you hate getting involved with me that much? He said, even the thought of getting something from me is annoying to you. She was thinking that, are you crying? Wait, she said, hey, calm down. It's not that I don't like it, it's great. I'm really happy that I got it from you. After hearing this, he stood up. With a crying face he said, liar? She said, I'm not lying. He asked, are you proud that I won? She replied, of course I trained you, so I did, so that I could one day be proud like this. With a sweaty face she was thinking that, please don't cry. I can't stand it when a child cries like this. He said, then of course you should compliment and reward your disciple. Isn't that right? She said, sure. He replied, what a relief. In fact, I was so determined to win I almost hurt you. Then he grabbed her hand and kissed her. He said, I will be going and wait for your reward. He turned away and left the room. He looked towards the servants and said, don't worry, get back to work. No one died. With a blushy face, Helena was thinking that I was tricked by him. After a while, Leonard and Helena was sitting together. Leonard said, so did it go by like that? She said, after returning, Caesar came to the room and asked, there have been many invitations since my birthday, right? I heard you are writing rejection letters, Helena said, but why? He replied, you don't have to work so hard anymore. There is also praiseworthy, right? She was thinking that, what are you talking about? Currently, she replied, I said this 3 years ago. I was surprised he still remembers it. It was really straightforward. Besides the latter recruiting I got, none of it was worth reading. Leonard said, "Isn't that good? Rejecting them is such a fuss." She said, "But I'm a bit afraid," and then Helena said, "No, I will think about it." Leonard replied, "But it's really weird now that I heard it." He gave her a letter and said, "Helena, an invitation was sent today." She was looking towards the letter and said, "Isn't it the royal seal? Did Caesar send it? Did not we prevent it from happening?" After opening the letter, she found that the letter was from the Empress. The Empress invitation is something you can't say no to, no matter the reason. She was sitting on the chariot and thinking that all of this happened after Caesar gave me the wreath. She reached to the capital and walking on the palace. In an embarrassed state, she was thinking, "Let's stop worrying now, and I'm a bit embarrassed." The worker said, "The Empress was waiting for a while, now please come in." They opened the door and the Empress was sitting on the chair. The Empress said, "Hello lady, thank you for accepting my invitation." Helena greeted her and said, "It's my honor to be invited here, Empress." Helena said, "Nice to see you again, Lady Brandt." She was also sitting there. Lady Brandt said, "Same for me. Seems like we will meet each other more often, Lady Feresca." The Empress said, "Oh my, do the two of you know each other? Looks like you are close." Lady Brandt said, "I've only talked to the lady a few times." Helena said, "Lady Brandt is quicker than me. I was only invited to talk to the girls, so please be comfortable. It's nothing hard, I was just happy for being invited." The Empress laughed and said, "You are so humble, even though the Crown Prince cares for you." Helena said, "You're joking, caring is a strong word." She was thinking that Caesar cares for me? And she even said, "I care about Caesar, how foolish." The Empress said, "I was not joking. But not the wreath, come back to you this time." In a panic state, Lady Brandt said, "Your Highness." The Empress looked towards Lady Brandt and said, "Be positive, Lady Brandt." After hearing that, she apologized to her. Helena was thinking that how pitiful. She said, "Since His Majesty learned swordsmanship with me, I think he was just trying to share the joy with the peer." The Empress said, "You really are humble." She closed her eyes and said, "If so, Lady Brandt is a sorcerer. Still, you should have to learn swordsmanship." Helena was looking towards Lady Brandt and thinking that she learned magic already. Magic is difficult to learn and hard to deal with, and it's not very impractical as well. People don't really studying it anymore these days. Lady Brandt was sitting in a sad state. Helena was thinking that I thought she was foolish. I did not expect this at all. The Empress looked outside of the window and said, "The weather is nice today. Would you like to come with me?" "Just about time, as I wanted to show you something." Helena smiled and said, "It's an honor to go with you, Your Majesty." She was thinking that, well, I'm not really curious, but let's just flow with the flow. They came outside of the mansion and sitting on the chair. Helena was thinking that all of a sudden we are watching an archer. The Empress said, "He is the youngest archer in the palace. I invited him here because I wanted you to have some fun." Helena was looking towards the Empress and thinking that, what is this? Is this her hobby? I think this is Lady Brandt's first time doing this. The Empress said, "You know how to deal with swords? Then do you know anything about arrows?" Helena said, "No, arrows are all I knew during my childhood." She was thinking that as a mercenary, I learned a bit from my coworkers, but it's hard to control unlike sword, so I gave up. In a loud state, Lady Brandt said, "A girl learning swordsmanship and even tried arrows. It's not that too violent. A lady should know how to make poems and dance, not swords or arrows, don't you think?" Helena laughed and said, "Sure, a lady should do those things." Lady Brandt was confused and in a sweaty state. She was thinking that, what is this feeling? Helena was thinking that I don't need to argue over these ordinary things. The Empress said Lady Brandt is a talent that's been trained to become crown princess ever since she was little. She seems to have matured naturally. Helena said it's because she left the battlefield. The Empress replied that's right. That's the privilege of old nobles. I hope that you will keep that honorable title. She asked, what about you? Don't you have the same ambition for power like your father? She asked, you're talking about politics, right? The Empress said instead of that the powerful title of the crown princess. Lady Brandt stood up and said, Your Majesty, those words. But then she controlled herself. Helena said, yes, I don't care about matters with the imperial family. She was thinking that I understand now, the Empress' purpose of letting me see the arrows. It's like a threat without words. The Empress said, answer me, can you swear on it? There is no way that you will be interested in being the imperial family's master. Helena was thinking that, seriously, how annoying. She said, Your Majesty, before answering, can I showcase my talent as a thanks to you? The Empress smiled and said, of course, do as you please. She stood up and take out an arrow. She was thinking that the distance is not far. It's easier compared to when I was a mercenary. She was thinking that this is a child's play, but more importantly just to tell you to stop threatening me. And then she aimed for the bullseye. The arrow hit the target accurately. The Empress was shocked after seeing that talent. Helena was thinking that there are many ways to deliver that. She said, Your Majesty, I apologize, but I only make deals. I don't swear on anything. Lady Brandt said, How dare you say such a thing? The Empress said, Lady Brandt, can you help me find a lost earring in my room? After hearing this, Lady Brandt was biting her lips, and then Lady Brandt leaves from their conversation. The Empress stood up and said, Lady Feresca, you have had many talents and great bravery since you were little. I can't believe you are the same age as Lady Brandt. I am very pleased with you. What do you think about getting close to me? Helena replied, I am the Crown Prince's best friend. The Empress smiled and said, Is not your best friend my proud son? She opened her eyes and said, If you get closer to me, I will assure you that nothing will harm you. Helena was thinking that indeed she would not let go so easily. I have responded to all her threats very patiently. Should I spill the tea? But then suddenly someone grabbed Helena's shoulder and said, So you are here, Helena. It was the Crown Prince, Caesar. After a while, Caesar was sitting on the fountain boundary. He apologized to her and said, I didn't want to call you for trouble. I did not think Empress would appear. Helena was looking towards him and thinking that, it was wrong of you to give me the wreath at such a place. I should like to say that, but the situation is quite difficult for you as well. Earlier when Helena was talking to Empress, at that time Caesar said, If I know about this I would have come sooner, mother. Helena looked towards him and thinking that, Caesar, you are here. The Empress said, Crown Prince, shall we have some tea together? Caesar replied, Don't make fun of my friend. She's not used to such a place. The Empress smiled and said, Oh my God, you must be kidding. This is how we make friends. Caesar said, Then just postpone this friendship for a while. And can I take the princess with me? The Empress replied, Well, I don't want to make my son angry, so this mother will have to step down. She looked towards Helena and said, Today was a really good time. See you next time, princess. Helena was thinking that being a son, being a mother, speaking very well even without blinking an eye. A person who pretends to be innocent and can poison you with a smile. Caesar had been dealing with such a person all alone. Helena said, Your Highness, if you wish, I can stand on your side here. Caesar looked towards her and said, What? No need, you just needs to live your life like before. There's no need to use honorific words, because I am not going to choose Helena. She asked, What choose? He replied, This is so annoying. Helena was thinking that standing on your side and entering a cold war? Yes, that's really annoying and boring. She sat down and grabbed his hand and said, "Caesar, the choice is not yours but mine." She was thinking that taking you as my disciple, promising to make you the emperor, even wanting to help you get out of the Empress thread, all of these. She said, "This master will help you." Caesar was looking towards her, and with a blushy face, he was about to cry, so he covered his face. Helena was thinking that you should be grateful for my great determination. All right, boy. After a while someone said, "Oh my, am I late?" Helena was sitting on the chair, and Hamilton came towards her. Helena replied, "No, it's me who came early." Hamilton replied, "You want to meet me before you return to the duchy. What an honor." She said, "I will be back soon." He replied, "Is there anything else to check in the capital?" Helena asked, "Isn't it no common for noble girls to come to social centers?" Hamilton said, "But princess, isn't it a little different?" Helena said, "You don't have to try to wrap everything around my laziness." He laughed and said, "Was I discovered?" "About that, why did you need to find me?" She said, "I want to know if the promise that the discount will be my source of information is still valid." He was about to drink a tea, but after hearing that, he put down the tea and said, "Of course. But if the princess wants information to where the relationship between His Highness and the Empress, I have nothing to give you." In any scary way, Helena said, "Viscount, do you think I'm that kind of person?" Hamilton smiled and said, "I'm very sorry. Please understand that I just want to protect His Highness." Helena replied, "I know it, that's why I trust you." She was thinking that Hamilton, who was always with Caesar whenever he came to the Duke's mansion, all the young people like us, often teased him for being inflexible and ignorant. But he is the most reliable person in reality. Hamilton asked, "What kind of information do you want?" She took out some notes and said, "Here, take a look at this." Hamilton took the notes. Helena said, "This is a list of nobles' troops that have sent me invitations." Hamilton said, "Well, I heard you received a lot, but did not expect it to be this much." She said, "It also includes guilds, association, artist groups and schools. Many of them came after the gladiator competition. Now there is no need to talk about what Caesar did. So please tell me where I should go and where I should not, Viscount." Hamilton was surprised after hearing that. He shouted, "Are you serious? Are you going to these social gatherings?" She replied, "What Caesar lacks is a force to support him, because many of the nobles on our side right now are untrustworthy." Hamilton said, "That's right. They are only looking at the position of the crown princess. They will leave at any time if they are at any disadvantage." Hamilton asked, "Are you serious? Are you telling the truth?" She said, "Don't you believe it? And why were you surprised twice?" Helena said, "Anyway, it is worded, isn't it?" He replied, "Well, there are things like this in the meantime. Above all else, if the princess wants to step forward, His Highness will certainly object it." Helena asked, "Why does my decision need Caesar permission?" With a bright smile, Hamilton said, "I did not mean that. I think I will have to make an excuse to His Highness later because I'm the one to stop him." She said, "You are honest then? Please help me within the 3 days." He said, "Leave it to me. I will deliver it to you in 2 days." He was hugging the invitation letters and laughed. He said, "If the princess becomes the crown princess, there will be nothing to regret." She said, "Why does Viscount want the thing that even my parents don't want me to?" He asked, "Don't you like that, princess? It's the best position a woman can have." She asked, "A woman can't get their position if she doesn't become someone's wife." In a wavering voice he replied, "I did not mean that." She said, "I did not intend to interrogate. But there are dreams even in this big city." Hamilton said, "They are everywhere." She said, "Dante is said to have come from a tramp." He replied, "Any of these vagrant boys dream of becoming a ruler of a country." Hamilton said, "Isn't an Emperor Dante a very special person?" "I'm not sure, but it seems that even her blood color is different from ours." Helena laughed and said it might be that because Dante's the one who sealed the dragon. Hamilton replied, come to think of it, I heard that some strange religious groups are worshipping dragons these days. Helena said, what worshipping dragons? It seems to be gaining power from the commoners. Due to its small scale it is neglected in the empire, and they said they will not stay still in the church. Hamilton said, I mean we should not deal with such people. Helena was lost in her thoughts. She was thinking that selling the dragon did not just to see something like this. Hamilton said, after all it is just a religion that will be popular for a while and then disappear. If Emperor Dante had seen this, he might have jumped out of the tomb and dealt with it. After hearing this, Helena smiled and thinking that it's my story, but now I feel like I'm hearing someone else's story. With a smile, Helena said, that's right. She was thinking that maybe I am getting further away from Dante. Now I might be getting used to the life of Helena, the opposite of Dante. I don't need to live a harsh life. I don't know why I feel sad, but a lot of annoying things happening in the future. However, an unknown person was standing outside and smiling in a weird way. After that, she was at her home. She told her father and brother about the invitation meetings at the dinner time. Both of them stood up and came close to her. They were crying and saying, if you need anything, tell me. Leonard said, Helena, if you have any difficulties, I will help too. She was trying to calm them down, and thinking that I'm not the one who saves the world. It would have been even more chaotic if my mother had been with me. Exactly 2 days later, Hamilton handed over a list of the various nobles and groups that distinguished friendly and foe. She personally visited them and invited them to the parties, so as not to stand out in a hurry. Little by little she built up a network with those nobles. The following summer at the Duke of Feresca's mansion, a god was saying, Lady, good morning, the invitation has arrived today. Helena was laying on her bed and started to read them. She said, it's finally here. It's Ulrika Brandt birthday party invitation. She was thinking that it is also known as the birthday when you become an adult. A god asked, are you not going to the party? She replied, of course I should go. Brandt and I are rumored to be rivals. If you reject this, then I am a petty woman. And since it's the Brandt's family party, a lot of families on that side will participate. So it's a great opportunity to observe closely. And now all I need is a support group. At the party day, she was sitting on the chariot. She said, I need a reinforcement, but it would have been nice if my brother came to play this. She was going to the party with Hamilton. Earlier she asked her brother to go with her at this party, but he declined it and said that he have a schedule on that day. Hamilton asked, do you hate me so much? She replied, you are twice as old as I am. He said, well, not that much. I'm not that old. They arrived at the party. Helena was thinking that whatever the case, but Hamilton is the perfect companion for today. Hamilton is now Caesar's deputy and my partner, even though it may not have the same effect as coming directly. It will be an unspoken message that the Crown Prince is closer to me. After seeing the party decoration, Helena said, wow, she was thinking that there are quite a lot of people. It's even more glamorous than the Crown Prince coronation ceremony. That's all for today's video. If you want to know what happened next, then like and subscribe. Alchemy Animation YouTube channel.